I guess let's get started.
I think one of the things you're really known for, especially in the US, is, as you said, you go to probably half the weekends of the year, you're at a contest somewhere along
Hmm.
either the East Coast or West Coast or anywhere in between. And I think there's probably going to be a lot of people, watching this. I mean, probably a lot have flown contests, but there's quite a few who have never been to a contest. So I think in today's episode, as the first episode, let's talk a little bit more about, competitions, DLG competitions. It might not even be DLG competitions. I think the contests in general in RC soaring. What should people expect if they're going to their first event?
For like their first event, like let's just say they're going to their very first event, what would they say? Well, I would say the number one thing would be don't be intimidated. As intimidating as a competition sounds, you're going to go to your first competition. It is intimidating. There's no way
Dude,
around
I was so intimidated when I
it. Yeah.
first started. I didn't even tell anyone around me I started flying
Hmm.
DOGs. And the first time I went to the field, I crashed my brand new plane and I went to go home after the second flight.
I've
It was
I've
stupid. I
done
should
that.
have.
I did that so many times. In fact, the first competition I went to, I showed up with a plane in my car. I got out, I started walking around, and I watched everyone. And
Uh-huh.
I was so intimidated that I didn't even get my plane out of my car. I watched for half the day and I left. So, but you know, now that I know what I know, and I've been to so many, I wish I hadn't, because someone there would have taken me under their wing and they would have explained a lot of things and helped me out, and I would have just started my career in soaring that much sooner. So, when I say don't be intimidated, try not to be. Get out, find the contest director. We call him a CD. Find the contest director, explain to them who you are, and say that you're going to be here. Pay your fee or whatever, or maybe you've already signed up for it online, and then find a suitable place that everyone is going to be in, kind of like a big long line, and so park your car, and then start either watching and learning, and put your plan together and ask for help. Everybody there will be so nice, and they will all help you figure out what's going on, how it's going to work, the rhythm of the contest, how it's scored, how you get a timer, things like that. It sounds like it's a lot, but you'll notice that now that like you, Thomas, have done it so much, you don't even think about it. You just show up. You could go to a contest anywhere in the world, not know anybody, and
Mhm.
it would just you would just like start.
Well, and I think one of the things is because people hear the word contest and it sounds really formal. It sounds almost elitist, right? You have to be a
Mhm.
certain level to go. But in reality, these so-called contests are more like fun fly events, but with a little bit of a structure to it. You know, it,
Sure.
I don't
Makes
think I've been to
social
any
atmosphere.
others. Yeah, the social atmosphere is just through the roof. It's awesome.
Right.
And you're not going to be able to go to any other event in any other hobby or sports where you, as a complete beginner, you can show up at an event and the next thing you know, you'll have one of the top pilots in the world helping you out, maybe getting your plane set up for you. And that's another thing. Like if you go to your first event, maybe your plane isn't set up to its full potential if you're just flying by yourself.
Sure.
And
Sure.
going to your first event, that's where, people will be able to help you out. Right.
Yeah, the old saying is you don't know what you don't know. And there's going to be so many things that you don't know, but you're going to learn very quickly. And after your first contest, flying in a competition makes you a better pilot. And hands down, you will become a much better pilot. And it just happened at my local field. I have a couple guys that are just decided they were going to start flying competitively, and so they started buying better planes, and they started competing. And next thing you know, I'm like, they're right there with me. I mean, they're duking it out every weekend. And I'm like, wow, where did this guy come from? And I didn't realize that I created this monster. And it just happened that, within the span of one season, their flying abilities went from maybe like a weekend warrior kind of rookie, someone I would never even look over at. Like, I need to watch his score. I need to watch what he's doing because he's getting really good, to the point where I'm like, now I have to watch him and make sure that he doesn't get away from me. And, he could easily catch me if I made a mistake and beat me on the weekend. So it's, and you gain knowledge and you get confidence. That's another thing that comes with flying in competitions is confidence. You'll gain confidence, and it'll come on fast. and with learning different aspects of how you're flying, you'll push boundaries that you didn't know you had. When I first started, I was terrified, and I was terrified to fly across like power lines, over trees, far downwind. I'm like, oh, I'll never get my plane back. I'll lose it. And now you don't even think about it. You'll fly so far away that you're like, people are
Dude,
like,
half the time you're flying, I can't even see the plane.
right. So yeah, right. So it's just something. Confidence comes with practice, and it's just more practice. And that's something you can't do enough is practice.
And one of the things is when you're flying by yourself, you don't know if it's the air that's not good or whether you just couldn't catch that thermal. And when you're flying in a group, especially in a competition environment, and again, competition because it's quite laid back, you see what is possible in the air. Like if it's overcast, maybe when you're flying by yourself, it's like, hey, you know what? I'm getting a minute, 30 seconds, maybe a minute flights. The air must suck. But then when you go out and you see people hitting 2-3 minute flights in the same air that you would normally give up in, now you start to pick up the little hints on where the thermal is, why people are going to those spots. And that learning process, I think, is just incredible. Like everything speeds up.
Yeah, very much amplified. Competition brings out the best in everybody, I think. And the one thing you'll notice about the soaring community is I did a lot of things. I played professional paintball when I was younger, and it was just a different atmosphere. But when I got into soaring, I realized that, wow, all these guys I compete against are all top level professionals in their own prospective industries, like, doctors and lawyers and pilots for, airlines. And these guys are, they've got their lives together. They're really good. And then they do this on the weekend for fun. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Who am I? I'm just this nerd that works at Honda. But so yeah, I think that your level of piloting skills just after your first event will probably double because you'll understand the lingo, you'll push boundaries, you'll gain confidence and competence. And then it'll just start steamrolling from there. And the other thing is you will make friends all over the country and all over the world that you would have never thought you had. You'll have you'll just can't wait for the next weekend to go so you can see friends that you don't get to see all the time.
It's probably one of the most important aspects of it for me. I'm pretty lazy. I don't, practice or train as much as I probably should. So it's pretty rare for me to get on the podium at a big event, but I still love going to the big events because all my friends are there. We'll have guys from Germany or the UK, Australia, China, everywhere. Everyone's going to be at that event. And it's something at least I really look forward to throughout the year. And again, like the past year and a half, it's just been really tough for me personally because it's not being able to see everyone.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. This flying being the junior team captain for the Worlds, and I think it's hard for the dates, maybe 14 and 17, I think it was, or my son, and now he has friends all over the world too that he still communicates with. Kids that he competed against are now grown young men. My boy's just finishing up college. He's 23 years old. He was 16 when he started, 14 actually when he started in. And now he has these people that, if he went anywhere in the world, he probably knows somebody pretty close that he could call and be like, hey, I'm in town, you want to hang out? And they couldn't wait to see him. It's a pretty amazing thing soaring has brought into my life.
I would have never thought when I first started to, know people all over the world like this either. Absolutely. Like sometimes if I'm going to another country, I need a place to crash. And quite often there's going to be someone, to hang out with, sleep for the night and then go on to the next place and just, have fun along the way. It's very rare, especially in this day and age where, everyone's kind of pitted against everyone else. And then there's this one thing that is bringing everyone back together.
Right. Yeah. It's, in a couple weeks, I have a buddy coming from Arizona. I'll pick him up at the airport and we'll drive down to House Mountain, Tennessee for a 5J tournament or contest. And then a couple months after that, I'll fly into Phoenix and he'll pick me up and he'll put me up at his house and we'll go out and we'll fly at his contest, And that's an incredible thing. I didn't know I was going to have friends, all over the country. where I was going to just hang out with these guys, and I can't wait to see them. There's going to be so many guys this weekend that I haven't seen for a long time because of COVID, and we're just going to have an amazing time. It's going to be fun.